Hi everyone. So today we are going to tackle one of the most important subjects, okay? And that is having a low self-esteem. We're going to discuss what are the causes of low self-esteem, what are some of the remedies that you can take for low self-esteem, but most importantly, we're going to discuss what is self-esteem, okay? Self-esteem, I'll give you an example what self-esteem is that you go to a party, okay? And the party that you go to, you do not really know too many people. You may know one person who invited you. So you go there in a party and you start talking to people, you start mingling, and suddenly you realize that the group that you are talking with, everybody there is graduated from Ivy League school. Like there could be people graduated from Yale, UPenn and Stanford and Harvard and Columbia, just all the like MIT, all the top universities, and they're all making the huge amounts of money, making $500,000 for them is nothing, but they look at that as a regular thing. And you're talking, and then when time comes for you to say something, you just shrivel in, you shrink your soul. You're like, oh my God, they're like in seven figures. I don't even have a college degree right now, but before you came to the party, you were happy. But as soon as you entered the party, you entered that zone, that war zone of egos. Your ego just completely evaporates because of the fact you feel so low about yourself. Like, oh my God, how come I don't have, and then whole jealousy thing comes into play. That what did they do that they have this? How come I don't have this? So that's where low self-esteem comes in. I'll give you another example. Facebook. Gazillion people have now Facebook, and they add friends, people don't even then know, okay? They add them. And what happens is that they start seeing their friends partying, they start seeing their friends visiting all the exotic places out there, their friends, taking pictures next to their BMWs and Mercedes Benz, like, hey, we just bought this new car. And then what happens to the person with a low self-esteem? They're like, oh my God, how come I don't have the lifestyle? What is it that they're doing? You start becoming jealous of them. You stop logging on to Facebook because you're surrounded by all these people with money and materialistic wealth and educational wealth and all these things, and you just feel like so low, like, oh my God. That's probably one of the top two good examples of having a low self-esteem. But let's discuss as to what can you do about having this low self-esteem before we go into the whole astrological aspect of it. Now, as far as the emergence of low self-esteem in a person, it really comes from the upbringing of a person. Okay, most of the time when a person constantly religiously criticized by their own parents about everything that they do, they get this inferiority complex, and their low self-esteem just blossoms because of the fact everything that they do in life, they feel that it's not good enough because of the fact they were not able to satisfy their parents or parents type people in their lives. Then what happens is that if they get a B grade instead of an A grade, they completely lose control. They cry. They're like, oh my God, why is it that I deserve this? Why I couldn't get an A? Because when they got that B back when they were 5th grade, 6th grade, the parents just criticized them. No, you can do better. Look, everybody's doing better. You're not doing better. So it has to come with parents. Here's another thing, the more you motivate a child, if your child got a C instead of an A, the way to not get that low self-esteem emerge above the high self-esteem is that make them feel good about that. Say, wow, you got a C. I cannot believe that. I thought you were going to get an F, but you got a C. You know what that child is going to do? It's like, oh my God, so my parents actually like this. You know what? Let me impress them more. So once that kid gets into that making an impression on a parent rather than trying to get their approval, that's where the high self-esteem comes from. Now, astrologically speaking, in your horoscope, whenever your sun and moon are damaged, especially when both of them are damaged, that's when really person has a very low self-esteem of themselves. Because astrologically, okay, what is sun and moon? Sun and moon, sun is your father, moon is your mother. So if your sun is damaged in your horoscope, your relationship with your father growing up, before the age of 18 especially, was damaged. Either the father was absent, or father wasn't there, or father was very abusive, father was very critical of you, or you had just a very professional relationship with your father. Okay? Moon represents your mother. Okay? So whenever the moon is damaged, and moon also represents the mind, so your mind gets damaged. So if mother was very critical of you, mother was always just, telling you negative things, thinking it's going to lift you up, but they were wrong. Okay? So whenever sun and moon both are damaged, that means that person did not have that nourishment from parents, from his mom and dad, for them to feel, stand in a party and say, hey, this is who I am. Take me or leave me, whatever. Now, astrologically, how is the sun damaged? Whenever sun is delineated in the sign of Libra, whenever sun is sitting with a negative planet like Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn. Rahu and Ketu are north and south nodes of the moon. If you're new to my channel, okay, they're very important. They're shadow planets. So, and especially when sun is in the 4th or 3rd house or the 8th house, it is killing, your fatherly energy in your life. Now, 4th house in your horoscope represents the mother. 10th house in your horoscope represents the father. Okay, people say 9th house represents father. No, 9th house is your teachers, your gurus. Okay, because remember, if your self is the 1st house and your opposite wife is the 7th house, then 4th house is the mother, 10th house is the father. So when your 4th and 10th house are damaged, okay, even if your moon or Saturn are not, a moon or sun is not that badly damaged, but your 4th and 10th house is damaged, that is also destroying the house of parents, and that is also creating low self-esteem. But main cause of self-esteem usually is when the actual planet are being damaged. So what is the cure for low self-esteem? And all these people who message me, when they get to remedies, all they say immediately say, okay, so this is my problem, I'm having depression, I'm having these, what stones do you suggest? Oh my God, I'm like, God damn, these people are so delusioned and blinded. They think that wearing a gemstone, as they do in Indian remedies, is going to solve all their problems. Your badly placed planets, okay, what are they? They are the people in your life. That's what they are. So you think wearing this ring is going to get rid of your mom, your dad, and make them good, make them, talk well to you? No. It's them. They're causing the problem. So if your Saturn is bad in your horoscope, you will always run into headbutts with your boss and your coworkers, and especially your boss. So you wearing a ring, the rings are not magic that they're going to start, like Harry Potter is going to change their mindset and they'll start liking you. No. The most powerful remedy that you can do, okay, is called praising the sun. What is that, praising the sun? Well, you have to wake up every morning early, okay, and you have to put water. You have to give water to the sun. It's called Surya Namaskar. And the reason why I say this is because I saw the changes in myself when I started doing that. You don't have to do it every day. Just do it every Sunday. Wake up in the morning and give water to the sun. That's what they used to do in Egypt. During the King Horus's time, King Horus, aka Amun Ra, who is the son of sun god, they are the ones, he was a king that brought the praising of the sun and taking the energy of the sun in the early morning, okay, to energize your entire body. Because that early morning sun is the most powerful. So when you throw the water on the sun, and when water is coming in front of your eyes, okay, and the light of the sun is reflecting through that water, you know what's happening? The water, when the light comes through that water, it's creating the 7 colors of the planet, and it's embracing your body. So that original fresh color from the source, sun, okay, when they go right towards your eye and your front lobe, it's completely internally starts changing engineering. That's one remedy, okay? Second, most powerful remedy is live in now. Live in now. Where does most of the problem comes in? Either you're thinking about the past of how your parents were, how your mom were, screw them, they screwed my life. Or you think about the future. Okay, I need to get into the best school. I need to get that car. I need to get that big house. And then this way, when I have all these things, I'll get the most beautiful girl. I'll be able to impress all the people at the party. That's what the future is. While you're missing the most important part of life, which is now. So start living in now, okay? Because if you ask yourself, what problem do you have right now? Nothing. But if you ask me, in the context of, normal, like layman's term, what problem do you have right now? Oh, I have low self-esteem. I just don't feel highly of myself. No. What problem do you have right now? Once you know the essence of this question, everything evaporates. Third and the last and the most important one is you need to do root chakra, okay? Root and solar plex chakra meditation. Once you do these two, because root chakra is controlled by the sun, solar plex is controlled by Mars. So you need to energize your willpower, which is the Mars, and you need to energize your internal soul, okay? The power of your internal soul to really get you going, to really get you up. And I say this because I was in your situation. I used to be in your situation. But when I did these things and I, built this self of myself within myself, who said, this is who you are, be happy with it. And I am. All right. So anyway, if you're new to my video, subscribe above. Otherwise, definitely check out the link below for more information on misconception and truth about astrology. Thank you.